Hello there, Qckslvrslash, and today we have a video featuring a pair of people who have been on this channel before. Reckless Sneak in the Tier 7 British cruiser, the Belfast, and I'll just call him Dave in the Russian destroyer, the Leningrad. Now, this video actually focuses more on Reckless Sneak, but I thought I'd give Dave a call out. Now, looking at the matchup, it's pretty good for them. Tier 7 ships, and they've got a number of Tier 5s and a couple of Tier 6s to face off against. And, well, there are a number of battleships. There's not a ton of battleships, because that's one of the things that can really start to undo the Belfast. Now, with where they spawned on fault line, it only makes sense that the pair of them push towards Alpha. And with the Belfast smoke and radar, Reckless can afford to get pretty close in to really support Dave. Now, Dave's doing one of the things I do like, but it either works well or it doesn't, and that is cutting into Alpha and then taking this channel back towards Bravo. In the instance that the enemy doesn't send anyone down here, it works amazingly. You're safe, there's no one to shoot you, but once in a while you will get caught off guard here as a destroyer or something charges down that channel thinking it's the shorter route. But so far, so good. Dave's got almost 3/4 the cap, and Reckless Sneak is going to slip in and help finish it off. But he has spotted enemy destroyer somewhere nearby, and with the radar being so close to that detection range, it was definitely an option. However, the Sims gets spotted all alone, and that may be a problem for the Sims if he decides to slow up. If that Sims stops in that smoke, he's a goner. There's the radar. The Sims looks to be noticing who he's up against and keeps the engines right at full, sailing away as fast as humanly possible.
Torpedoes to port.
Now, the only downside to radar is it does eventually run out, so probably one more volley here, and that's gonna be it. The Sims slips away, but there's other things to pay attention to. A Miyoko in close, and side on, so Reckless loads the AP. It's Citadel time. First volley, 7 Citadels, 25,000 damage, and when you hit like that, it only takes 2 volleys to finish him off. Sadly, the Independence gets the kill in before Reckless's shells can hit. But either way, up to just shy of 31,000 damage, just over 3 minutes in. This is an amazing start from Reckless, and you can see how his team is pushing up. Now, there's a large chunk of the team who have decided to do the, hey, we're all going to A, and that's a little unfortunate. But the group that did initially spawn over here and push up into A, they've pushed up. They're not sitting way back in the H line like you see happen once in a while. No, they've got right up into A and they're ready to defend. Now, Reckless using some HE, the unique attribute of this cruiser is that it gets HE. And worth noting, because I know what Reckless's captain is, because he told me it doesn't have demolition expert or anything like that, but you'll notice in the flags he is running the 2 fire chance flags, which is a little bit brave because it raises your chance of detonation, but I don't think Reckless plans on getting hit this battle. So far, 44,000 damage. He's at full health, and he still hasn't used a smoke. And that kind of shows, I think, to people who claim that this ship's overpowered, that the smoke doesn't make it strong. Good positioning, good captain skills, or good piloting, sailing, whatever term you choose to use for driving a boat, are all that are required. He was getting a lot of shots off at that Iron Duke using the land as hard cover rather than relying on a smoke and sitting in the open. And that's something you can do in any cruiser. And honestly, one of the reasons I've really enjoyed watching this replay and I'm sharing it is because Reckless does such a great job of just keeping himself moving. Sure, he's spotted right now, but all the battleships that can potentially hit him are, 14, 15 kilometers away. Then those ranges where rudder shift is all you need. In fact, sitting still in a smoke can be more risky if that enemy captain knows exactly how to hit someone shooting out of a smoke stationary. Reckless gets another pair of fires on that Duke. They get put out, so time to fire again. And you can see Reckless continuously aware of where ships around him are. The big risk being this enemy hood and the ships of the enemy team that are kind of over in this section of the map. He may be focusing on and shooting that Iron Duke, but they're not going to be the ones likely to hit him. It's going to be a ship he's not suspecting that's going to get the hits in.
Problem solved, sir.
Meanwhile, Dave has just been kind of playing point. He's just out ahead of Reckless this whole time, working the same direction. And he just laid a beautiful smoke down that Reckless is going to be able to slip inside and use to his full advantage. And I kind of feel bad for this Koenig. He does land a shot there, but he's not exactly a hard target to hit, and he's one of the few things that Reckless has easy shots at right now. Or had. He starts to maneuver, and that's starting to push the Koenig right to the outside of the firing range of this thing, and you can see with this kind of shell flight time, even a battleship that is maneuvering can be a pain to hit. Not impossible, just takes a little bit of luck. With a final volley, that's going to be the last one Reckless manages to get at that Koenig, but I'd really start thinking about this King George and Hood, as both were spotted, inside firing range and kind of on a course that takes them towards Reckless. Enemy Emerald gets spotted. He's worth shooting at. I mean, the Emerald allowed to sit and shoot can do some big damage, but you can kind of see this Iron Duke is staring straight at him, so Reckless just lets it be. He's going to let those shells hit before deciding what to do. Good chunk of the Emerald's gone. Now that Reckless is clear of the Iron Duke and any chance of friendly fire, fires a set off, and you can see he's choosing to use his first smoke, if I had to guess here. He's thrown the brakes on, he's got Hydra up. The next thing that comes is smoke, and this is a great position to do so. He's got more than one target. He has this King George, there's a Fuso, there's potentially more Emeralds that may get spotted again, and these are the places where using your smoke is wise. And you can see the Iron Duke has slipped right inside with him, presenting a bit of a friendly fire risk, and it's always annoying when you're a cruiser that pops smoke and a battleship sails in right against you and takes your shots away. But with the speed of these British cruisers, it doesn't take long for Reckless to move forward, get his arcs cleared again, and go to work on this Fuso. And really, you can all pretty easily see all Reckless is doing is switching back and forth between these targets. When one gets lit on fire, he goes back to the other and just kind of makes sure that they're always burning. It's a good strategy. Unfortunately, he sailed just a little too far forward, trying to avoid hitting his friendly Iron Duke. Ate a big hit there, but with the damage ticking away on that King George, he gets his Confederate medal, and he's up to almost 110,000 damage so far. The game still young, just over half over, and you can see both sides have only lost 3 ships apiece. And there is the Hood making its charge out, and it's some pretty good timing by the Hood. Or would be, because Reckless's smoke just ran out. If it wasn't for his ally, I'll just call him Dave, laying down a fresh smoke perfectly timed, he would have been a sitting duck for that Hood. And things like that are exactly why it is amazing to play with division mates. Somebody you can sit on comms with, coordinate with, and just make sure you don't get picked off because of poor timing. And now, I feel bad for this Hood. He almost had a great opportunity, but because of teamwork, he's gonna just sit there getting absolutely peppered with HE. And really, once this Hood sinks, the only thing left out on that flank, that's been spotted at least, is an Emerald. Most of the remainder of the enemy team is way up there in the north, and that's some really bad positioning for the late game here, because they're going to have a hard time pushing into the center of this map and putting pressure onto Reckless, onto Dave, and the rest of their team that are kind of just sitting here happily in the center of the map, just shooting at whatever happens to be in their sights. And you can see the damage just tick away. And a really wise use of the radar there. I think that was a bit of a sixth sense. His Hydro is back up. I think Reckless was kind of getting that sneaking suspicion that this Koenig or Sims were about to make a charge around the corner. So he uses the radar to get them spotted, and now that the radar is down, I pretty much guarantee you the Hydro is going to be coming back up should this Koenig slip undetected. And that poor Koenig, you know, not much he can do here but eat a bunch of damage. And oddly enough, the Sims is probably going to save him, or at least delay his demise, because you see a destroyer in close, you shoot at it. You don't want it to have the chance to get away, slip into smoke, get torpedoes off. And you could see there for a moment Reckless tried to get some shells at the Koenig. Unfortunately, the land just tall enough to block them all. And with the Hydra up, Koenig's going to stay lit, even if the friendlies lose their line of sight. And really just have to be careful for Sims torpedoes. Luckily, they're pretty slow, so Hydro and the great British acceleration should be enough to dodge them. With that kill, he picks up the Arsonist, and the game will end as they tick past 1,000. And this was quite the amazing game, or good game if you don't consider this amazing. 564,000 credits, 8,200 experience, Arsonist, Wither, Confederate, high caliber, 164,000 damage. Sure, not a huge stack of kills, but it's not always about that. A lot of the enemy ships died because Reckless was able to hit them repeatedly. And really the vindication and, you know, what shows this effort is the base experience. 2 points shy of 2,200. I'll just call him Dave right there in second. The pair of them doing an amazing job as a team. And Dave, great job with the smoke there. I really do think you saved Reckless's life from that Hood. As far as the damage done goes, pretty much 20 plus to every single thing Reckless shot at. And that Miyoko had to be screaming at his computer as he ate all those citadels, just losing his whole ship in a second. As far as what he's taken home, 431,000 credits, 8,200 experience, a little more for the captain, and hopefully a big smile for a fun, well-played game. Thank you very much for sending this in, Reckless Sneak. I enjoyed watching it. I hope everyone else did as well. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up or subscribing to the channel. And as always, I'm Qckslvrslash, and I'll have another one for you all later.